A few weeks ago, we came back to Australia after an amazing trip to Southeast Asia. We spent some time catching up with family and friends, and I got my Australian citizenship after 9 years in the country. So we thought, what is a better way to celebrate than driving around Australia? As you all know, we spent the past 4 years living in this bus. But we decided to make it more adventurous, to drive around the country, not in this, but in this.
You're going to drive us around, dog? You're going to drive us around Australia? You're a good girl. What do you have to say about this?
Don't eat that.
You can't eat that. The reason we're deciding to drive around Australia in this tiny little thing is because we've got a little bit too comfortable living in the bus. The bus is basically a driving home. It's not an adventure anymore, and we need some more adventure in our lives. So we're going to shove only what we need inside of Betty and hopefully on top of Betty and drive around Australia for a lot cheaper and a lot less comfortable. We've recently sat down and did some calculations, and we found out that if we drive around in the bus, we'll be spending about $15,000 just in fuel. But if we do it in this little thing, we'll only spend about $2,000 in fuel.
The third reason that we have been trying to go around the country with the bus for the past 4 years, and so far we only have seen Queensland and part of North New South Wales. With Betty we can travel around much faster, and we are planning to do the trip in 3 or 4 months and then go towards new adventures.
Those are the reasons why it's a good idea, but here's some reasons why it's a really dumb idea. Number 1, you dog. This is reason number 1. I don't know if you've seen our previous videos, but this beast is really noisy in the car. Number 2, Betty is an old vehicle and we've recently taken her to the mechanics, and he's given us a list of things we need to fix before we can go anywhere. And number 3, as you can see, Betty's tiny, so I don't know how she's going to accommodate 2 grown adults and 1 fluffy beast. First step, buying stuff for Betty. We've got some rear shock absorbers, can of degreaser, an air filter, an oil filter, wiper blades, motor oil, some hearing protection, first aid kit, some more hearing protection, headlamps or dickhead lamps, portable inverter, and roof racks. Here's the part that I haven't been looking forward to, is fixing Betty. And to start with, I'm going to do the dodgy rear shock absorbers. Also, full disclosure, I've never done this before, but last night I watched a YouTube video on how to do it, so we should be right. This thing in here is called the shock absorber. It's what we're trying to replace. It's seized up, it's not absorbing any shocks anymore. That thing right there, that's the top of it. That was about as much fun as a poke in the eye with a stick, but got the old one out. Time to put the new one in. One down, one to go. Let's see if I can do this one faster. That is how you do that. Second time was a lot faster than the first. On to the next job, I reckon. Next step is doing Betty's windscreen wiper blades, because they're old and cracked and they haven't been replaced in about 3 years. That was easier than I thought. Look at them go. Next, we're going to try and use a kit, a lens cleaning kit, to see if we can clean up these headlights a little bit. I've just dehazed this according to the directions on the pack, and while it's not 100% clear, it's a little bit hazy. I'm not sure I did it properly, to be fair. It is about 100% better than the other one, which you will see when I move. This is the one I've done. That's the one I have to do now. As you can see, they look about 100% better than what they were. Nice and clear. Hopefully we'll be able to see the roos when they come hopping out at us. That's me done for the day. It's getting pretty dark. I'm going to reverse this up, pack up, and continue on tomorrow. another day. Got to work on Betty again. Today's a little bit more exciting because I'm going to attempt to put roof racks on her with roof racks that aren't designed to be put on Betty. Wish me luck. These are the roof racks I'm using. Apparently they're supposed to be universal, so they're supposed to fit on any sort of car. But Betty's only a 3-door car and roof racks are supposed to go on 5-door cars. So I'm not sure if it's going to work or not, but we're going to give it a crack anyway. We couldn't actually find roof racks that were specifically designed for a 3-door vehicle. Found out that we've got 3 options with these things. Number 1 is that I attach them like so and have a long screw in between the two to tension them up, which is going to look very unattractive. Option number 2 is that we return these for a refund and then try and find something else online, which I'm probably going to have to modify anyway. Or the third option is that I take this and I bend this bottom flat part into a 90 degree so it sits on the roof of the car, and then I glue it and screw it to the roof of the car, which in the ideal world is not a great possibility because the less holes I poke in Betty the better. But the reality is she's an old car. We're probably not going to trade her in anytime. We're probably going to drive her till she dies. So it doesn't really matter what we do to her because the resale values bugger all anyway. So me personally, I'm going with option 3. I'm going to modify these, save us time, save us a bit of money, and there's a bit of experience for me as well. So happy days. But before I do anything, I'm going to have a coffee.
The other day we bought something for ourselves. We never buy anything for ourselves, we only pay bills. But the other day we bought a new flashy coffee machine, which was on sale, that's why we bought it.
I want a flower.
Can't do a flower, you have told me before.
Oh, I think I have a marshmallow.
Exactly.
I do latte art, it's a marshmallow. It's good.
We are going to have some lunch, very easy, quick lunch, yogurt, raspberries and some cereals. Don't you guys look at the bus because it's a mess. Puppy dog can have this. Shake, big, drop. Take care.
We'll have to make the most of this while we can because we won't have a fridge in Betty, so we won't be able to do this very soon. It's nap time. I'm gonna have a nap. What do you reckon, dog? Nap time?
Both of you, go back to work.
Can't. I gotta keep giving puppy cuddles. I can't even have this handbag, see? And that is how you do that. It's not pretty, but they're not going anywhere. I've got to let that dry for about 24 hours before I put any weight on it, but I'm quite happy with that. On to the next thing.
I've just got my sleeping bag, which is super exciting because it's the last thing we were waiting before going. They should put enough tape. Cool. It's a little bit bigger than what I thought it would be, but it's -7, so hopefully it should keep me warm. I also hope not to go in -7 temperature, but if it happens, I should be warm. Or I might just enter Aaron's sleeping bag inside the sleeping bag as well. Don't tell him. By the way, I found this for very cheap. It was only $30 and I will link the shop here. So in case you need a sleeping bag, this one is cheap. I will let you know how it is. We open it up to see how it is. It'll take me forever to put it back inside. Oh, that's awesome. It does look warm. It keeps you warm also when you pack it. Today is officially our last day in the bus. So mission for today is clean this mess and packing up Betty.
Somehow I've got to try and fit all of this onto Betty and in Betty.
Some stuff that we bought for camping. Earmuff, so we don't get deaf when the dog barks in the car. We found this at Bunnings again for the dog. You can screw this in the ground and it has a leash, so we don't have to have her at our ankle 24/7. A nice handy headlamps. I'm not sure if it's working. Yes, it is. Apparently it gets red as well. We have got a beach umbrella for shade and gas bottles for cooking. Okay, I need to fit as much food as possible and as much cooking stuff as possible inside here. That's going to be fun. I assume Aaron will want his Vegemite. This is the most important thing of all. We can live without the dog, can live without the sleeping bag, without the swag, and we can't live without the portable espresso machine. One set each of everything, and of course espresso cups.
Okay, this is as much stuff as we can fit. It's got everything we should need to cook and eat with and eat on and drink with, and it's got some ingredients to cook there as well. She's all packed up and now we're off for the big lap. See you in the next one.